So it's evening time right now, which if you're someone that works on a car, you will know that evening time is the best time to start working on your car because it's gonna be a quick job and it's not gonna take into the night, of course. But I mounted up the backup camera right here. You know, I said I wasn't gonna do this and then I just did it, so that was pretty cool of me. I ran it all the way from the front, all the way through a hole and then through the bed and then all over there. You can see all the wires, yep, zip tied to the frame there. There's a whole bunch of them. And that was a decent amount of work, but now we're gonna undo all of it because it turns out this camera view is terrible. Look at this, I'll show you the stock one. That is so much better. You can see the edges of the bumper right here, so you know you have like relative to your position, you can kind of see where you're at. This one, you don't get any of that. I think you can scroll down a hair. Yeah, you still can't even see like relative to where you are. And look at that, you can see the whole cardboard box here. You can only see a little bit of it right here. So that just kind of sucks. So instead of using this thing as like a secondary backup camera thing, I was like, well, you know, it'll just work as a dash cam, whatever, no big deal. But I don't know, this is just stupid. And I found a way that it could be a dash cam still and also not be completely useless. And my genius plan is to put it up here, right here next to the third brake light, so then it can act as kind of like a camera for what's in the bed, you know, like a fiance sometimes is in there. So I think that's what we are going to do today. And then some other stuff maybe. Again, the sun is definitely setting. Oh, and my brilliant plan to make a little 3D printed spacer to mount this up, yeah, this worked out fucking fantastic. So maybe I'll address that, maybe I won't. I don't know. This thing, the mount for this thing just fucking sucks to begin with. So fully undoing all of my handiwork here is actually gonna require me to take the taillight off. And the reason that I gotta take the taillight off is because the reverse camera knows to switch over by the reverse lights turning on. That's the signal that it uses to know, hey, this guy's trying to reverse. Let's show him what's behind him. But now that I'm not using it for that purpose, this needs to come undone. And I'll be honest, this felt like I was breaking something last time I took it off, and it's probably not gonna feel much better this time. Oh, why do they make them like this? Oh, yeah, you see what I mean? So you can see this is the wire that I had connected. It goes from the reverse light to way down there, and then it goes to the camera. And what we need to now test is, can I cut this wire right here and have our camera still work? I sure hope so, considering I just cut the wire. And yes, it does. Okay, so you want this go into reverse? It doesn't know to swap over now. Wow, that's obnoxious, but that's okay because I don't want it to do that anymore. So at this point, it's kind of just a matter of getting in there and cutting all the zip ties and pulling all of the wiring out. Now that our epic wire has epically become unrouted, I am faced with the epic decision brought about by my epic fiance to mount it on the side of the third brake light or above it or something, or maybe even in the cab. Because if I do put a camper shell on this thing at some point, having the camera up there pointing to the top of it is gonna be kind of a stupid thing to have. So it looks like putting it right about here, that's gonna give me a good like dash cam type view, and then when I need to see the bed, I can just tilt it down because it's on like a little hinge. Then I can see pretty much the whole bed. And then when I'm not hauling stupid shit, I can just twist it back up, and then I can see my local menaces to society. Okay, yeah, I guess that'll do. I took down some dimensions for mounting all that up so I can mock up a 3D printed thing later. And now, while there's still some amount of daylight left, I want to switch out the turn signal stalk. And the reason we're doing that, not because this one's broken, in fact, it works just fine, but Nissan, being the silly little guys they are, they installed this like sunlight, daylight sensor thing in most of these Frontiers. Almost all of them have it, but they didn't come with the stalk with an auto position. So it's got the hardware there to detect when the auto needs to come on, but there's just no way for you to put it in auto. But this one, this isn't even off of a Frontier. This is off of a Murano. That one's got the auto. I had to make sure I found the exact correct one because this Frontier has fog lights, so I needed one with the auto and with the fog light switch. And these things are so similar that this should just like bolt right up. It's basically the exact same part. There's a little bit of a molding difference on the end there, but you know, that's pretty much it. I did the same thing on my Scion XD XD back in the day. I took a Prius wiper switch because the XD, it didn't have the like fine wiper control either for the front or the rear. I don't remember, something like that. But if you swapped a Prius one on here, you got that control back. For some reason, this is just like a thing that you can do in cars for the most part. Yeah, this thing's got like a remote start module installed, I figured out the other day. But they only like half-assedly installed it or something. It's missing some component that I have to get. And then I'm missing the remote for it. There's like a little key fob that you need. So that was a pretty cool discovery. I'm also discovering some really shoddy wiring. Oh yeah, look at that. That's epic. And don't get me wrong, I fully understand how kind of stupid, I guess, it is to be replacing this entire stalk just to get auto headlights. Because that's a 1 second problem, right? You'll eventually like remember to turn them on when you're supposed to turn them on. We did that for years, decades even. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend $25 on a stalk and spend half an hour taking all this crap apart for a 1 second problem. But I'm definitely the kind of guy that would spend $25 and half an hour to fix a 1 second problem. Because that 1 second problem is gonna compound a billion million times every time I drive this thing. I could not possibly learn to remember to turn the lights on when they need to be on. Impossible. But it's also just one of those like, because I can things, you know? You know, like why do you gotta put Linux on a fridge? Why you gotta do that? Are you doing it just because you can? Bingo, buddy. And this is not coming off.
That's gonna give us access to the unit right here that we want to.
And out comes this one. Ta-da! There's a lot more grease on the old one. We'll just do a little grease transfer here. And now the new one should just go right in. And kerchunk. Okay, I think that's it. Let's test it out. Okay, it's on auto right now. We're gonna turn it on. There's the lights. Go off. And they go off. Working as intended. Thank you, someone's Nissan Murano. We can go left. We can go right. Does it cancel the turn when I turn the wheel?
Turn it.
Oh, look, no power steering. I can't turn the wheel.
Turn it.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. And running lights. Yeah, those are working fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's low beams. High beams. Yeah, it appears that everything worked. Some dude from 15 years ago on the Frontier forum did not lie. That's pretty damn cool. If you want a part number and the video guide I used to replace this thing, I'll leave it in the description. So here's the print. I think it ended up all right. But now that can sit there. And now I can very epically record the bed. And it's still enough that I can see if someone's about to crash into me, so that's nice. But I think that'll do. Much more useful than a backup camera, which I already had. The packing is going, well... oh, it's going. Closing is in like 2 weeks. We gotta get this place in ship shape. I'm starting to pack up the Bringus studio very slowly. We have had to close down the Bringus store so that doesn't distract us from our ultimate goal. There's quite a bit of Bringus merch paraphernalia that we need to get packed up. Got some stuff for a video I'm working on here, but you don't get to know what that's all about. But it's a good time here at the studio. And as much as I would like to drag the length of this vlog out even further, I do have stuff to do. So I'm gonna call it here. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.